Hello everyone, my name is James Morosky, and today I would like to talk about standard work procedures. For my procedure, I chose something timely here in Michigan, and that is raking up leaves that are in my yard and getting them onto my compost pile. So I have a maintenance background, so usually before we do any type of work, we do what's called a pre-task plan, which you just think about the work that you're going to do, decide what tools that you need to do that work, and then consider any hazards that might be involved in doing the work. So when I looked at picking up leaves, it seems pretty basic. They're leaves, how many hazards could there be? But as far as tools, that was the first step, is to figure out what kind of tools I need. Now there's a lot of different ways to do the leaves. If you're lucky enough to have a lawnmower that has a leaf collection bin in the back, then you're luckier than I am. You can also use a leaf blower, and blow them onto a tarp and use a tarp and do it that way. But the leaves are wet. It's been raining for the last 2 days, so the leaves are really wet. So I choose to do it the really old-fashioned way, by using good old-fashioned rakes. You could use either a wheelbarrow, or what I like is garbage cans. They're a lot better than bags. If you use the paper lawn bags, they have a tendency of getting wet and ripping, and you really can't overload them without something happening to them. So the next is PPE, which is personal protective equipment. So the only really PPE that I could think of for this job would be a good pair of gloves. Not so much because the leaves are going to hurt your hands. I guess a twig, if you get twigs and you're trying to pick up the leaves, they could stab your hand. But also if you're doing so much raking, you have a really good chance of getting blisters. So the process that I figured out for picking up leaves has 6 steps, and I'll just run through them really fast. So first of all, put on your PPE equipment. That's part of the pre-task pre-work. Grab your rake. Now the way you want to hold your rake is spread your hands apart. If you have them too close together and you try and rake, it's going to be really hard on your arms and your shoulders. So you want to spread your hands out. I usually do it with the top hand with my palm up, the other hand about midway in the rake with my palm down. And you rake across your body, or you can also switch your hands where both palms are down, and you can pull the rake out of the leaves towards you. Now to save time, I started raking up a pile of leaves. My next step was to rake the leaves into a pile. You could either rake from a circle, outer perimeter, and rake all the leaves into a pile. Or you could also rake in a straight line. It doesn't really matter, but today I'm raking from a circle and just into a pile. Another good thing with garbage cans is I can start by laying it down instead of having it standing up, picking the leaves up and throwing them in. I can get a good head start by laying it down and just shoving the leaves in. You could use your hand. That's where kind of having the gloves comes in handy. Shake it to get them to settle. And then top them off. I don't pack them down too much because it's harder to dump them out, and it also takes too long. Plus they'll be pretty heavy. Let's go out to the compost pile. This is the biggest part of the work, is transporting the leaves from wherever you're raking them at to get them to the compost pile. Like I said, you can also use a lawnmower with a trailer or a large tarp. Now this is my compost pile. This is where usually where I put my leaves, grass clippings, anything else that I want to take and throw in my flower bed that helps to keep the moisture in the flowers. So now I'm transporting my containers back to my leaf pile. And when I get back here, you start the process all over again. Rake the leaves into a pile, load into your wheelbarrow, your garbage cans, transport to the compost pile, dump them, come back. We don't stop until all the leaves are gone and they're back there on a pile. That concludes my standard procedure for leaf raking. Thanks.